fellow sports lovers and timeout lovers, and welcome to another episode of Timeout, a show anybody can watch about sports, stats, facts, and everything in between. From a fan point of view, I'm your host Charlie, so let's go get this ball rolling. Timeout. Let's talk about some sports. How did I miss that? Okay, fellow sports lovers, so here we go! Man, did we have some awesome, gut-wrenching, shocking NFL games that happened this weekend. Such as, in London, England, we had the Jets and Ryan Fitzpatrick becoming James Bond and turned those Miami Dolphins into fish and chips with a 27-14 victory. Ouch. In Chicago, my Bears, woo-hoo, finally got their first win for the season as they roared back against the Oakland Raiders with a Bears victory, yes, of 22-20. The Saints got to party in Bourbon Street on Sunday night as they beat them Rowdy Cowboys with a 26-20 victory in final overtime. And finally, the last game we're going to be discussing was the other night's game. The Seahawks made some noise and brought the funk over a tired and worn out Lions with a Seahawks victory of 13-10. Man, talk about some awesome games that happened this Sunday and Monday football. Timeout. Let's talk about this. So there was so much gut-wrenching, shocking NFL football that happened this weekend. And unfortunately, though, I don't have all the time to watch every single game. But here is what this timeout lover and sports lover and football lover watched this weekend. So timeout. It's NFL recap time. For the first game, we're gonna head outside of the USA to London, England, where the men of mysteries, the New York Jets, were going to head on to face those Miami Dolphins. As the Jets started it off by flying into victory lane when Chris Ivory of the Jets, courtesy of Ryan Fitzpatrick, got a 3-yard run to start it off. But the Dolphins tried to swim on back to victory lane as Tannehill throws an 8-yard pass to Jake Stoneburner. But even with New Orleans Saints' old player, Dolphins' newest player, Kenny Stills, getting a 10-yard pass from Mr. Tannehill, it still didn't work out so well for them Dolphins because the Jets just chopped bomb after bomb all over the fish with a 27-14 victory. Even though the Dolphins lost, there were some tough fish, such as quarterback Ryan Tannehill, who had 198 yards, but did have 2 touchdowns, but then kind of broke even with 2 interceptions, and only finished for 19-44. Jarvis Landry tried to have a decent day, but only had 2 carries, and only went off to the races for 29 yards. And Kenny Stills had a decent day with 5 receiving, 81 yards, and a Dolphins touchdown. On the other side, the Jets, Jets, had their stud, Ryan Fitzpatrick, really step up his game with 218 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and finished for 16-29. Chris Ivory had a decent day, especially if you have him on your fantasy. Good pickup. Had 29 carries, 166 yards, as well as a Jets touchdown. Brandon Marshall had an interesting day. I really thought he was going to go off to the races myself, having him on my fantasy. Nonetheless, he still did decent with 1 receiving and 128 yards. But nonetheless, the Jets did win this one in London, 27-14. Telling all those Jets haters, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. Oh. On to the next game. We head to my Chicago Bears at Soldier Field as the Bears went head-on with the Oakland Raiders. As my Bears started off with a roar, as new Bear, but not new to the NFL, Eddie Royal, used to be a Charger, also on my fantasy by the way, gets a 7-yard pass from Mr. Jay Cutler. The Raiders tried to fight back with their new Warrior rookie Amari Cooper. Used to play for Alabama. Gets a 26-yard pass courtesy of Mr. Derek Carr. But nonetheless, that reliable kicker for the Bears, Robbie Gould, also on my fantasy, makes a 49-yard field goal to end the game. As the Bears finally get their first win of the season with a 22-20 victory. Even though they lost, the Raiders did have some rock stars, like quarterback Derek Carr, who had 196 yards, not so great, but he did get 2 touchdowns, very good. Had 1 interception, and finished for 20-33. Latavius Murray tried to have a decent day with 16 carries and 49 yards, but definitely messed up with a fumble. Michael Crabtree, former 49er, had 5 receiving the other day, as well as 80 yards. On my Chicago Bears side, Jay Cutler had 281 yards. He got not 1 but 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and finished for 28-43. But he couldn't do it without his Superman, Matt Forte, turning it up with 25 carries, 91 yards, but definitely got to work on those fumbles. Had 1 fumble. And of course, the tight end of the Bears, top Bear, Martellus Bennett, had 11 receiving, 83 yards, and count them, 1 touchdown. But nonetheless, my Bears, finally win and beat the Raiders, get their first win and beat the Raiders, 22-20. On to the next game. We head to that party place everybody knows about, Nolans, as the Saints hosted them Dallas Cowboys, as the game was a back-and-forth battle, as kicker of the Cowboys started off, also on my fantasy, Dan Bailey, gets the party started with a 30-yard field goal. But the Saints told the Cowboys, it isn't a party without them Saints. Go marching in as Drew Superman Breezy throws a 3-yard pass to Josh Hill. And with only 1 minute, 1 minute and 51 seconds left in the game, quarterback Brandon Weeden, second string quarterback Brandon Weeden from the Cowboys, throws a 17-yard pass to Cowboys Superman Terrence Williams to tie the game 20-20. Okay, fellow timeout lovers, sports lovers, here we go. Now we're tied 20-20 now we're going into overtime, and Drew Breezy looks down the field, doesn't know who really to throw to, and just soars the ball to no other than C.J. Spiller for an 80-yard pass. Man, was it exciting to make the Saints party in Nolens with a 26-20 victory. Man, what an awesome, intense game. Even though they didn't win, the Cowboys had some amazing studs. Like, gotta give it up for second-string quarterback Brandon Weeden, with 246 yards, 1 touchdown, and finish for 16-26. Lance Dunbar tried to step up his game before he got out of the game, with 3 carries and 54 yards. And finally, Bryce Butler had a decent day with 1 receiving and 67 yards. When the Saints go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Alright, with the Saints, we have the quarterback Drew Breezy, who also on my fantasy stepped up the game no matter what with 359 yards. Not 1, but 2, count them, 2 touchdowns, and finished for 33-41. Mark Ingram had a really decent day too with 17 carries and 77 yards. And finally, that old Buffalo Bill, new Saint, C.J. Spiller, had a 5 receiving, 99 yards, and count them, 1 touchdown. On the final game, we're going to head to the noisiest stadium there is in Seattle, as the Seahawks hosted those Detroit Lions, with the game getting going in the second quarter as Doug Angry Baldwin gets a 24-yard pass from the Russell-nator Wilson. But the Lions tried to roar back with their kicker, Matt Prater, getting a 41-yard field goal. But nonetheless, the Seahawks steal a victory at home, 13-10. What I'm trying to explain here, fellow timeout lovers, how they stole the game is basically Mr. Matthew Stafford takes the ball, looks down the way, of course, 81, Calvin Megatron Johnson's ready for it, throws him the ball, Megatron grabs the ball, okay, then Mr., of course, was out of the Seahawks forever, Cam Chancellor, Calvin Johnson has the ball, not tucked in, out, so you're supposed to have it tucked in, and he doesn't have it tucked in, has it out like this, and Cam Chancellor punches the ball out of his hand, and it kind of flops out, and then linebacker of the Seahawks decides to just push it out of the end zone, which is a big no. It's a live ball. Technically, it should have been the Lions' ball. But nonetheless, the studs of the Lions, by the way, was quarterback Matthew Stafford, who got 203 yards, finished for 24-35, as well as Amari Abdul started off the party right with 13 carries and 33 yards, and Calvin Megatron Johnson had 7 receiving and 56 yards, as well as that fumble, which I just explained. On to the other side of the field, those bad Seahawks with their quarterback, the Russell-nator Wilson, with 278 yards. Man, 1 touchdown and finished for 20-26. His secret weapon, because Marshawn Lynch is out, Thomas Rawls, who if you picked him up, good choice. With 17 carries and 48 yards. And of course, can't forget about Mr. Reliable of the Seahawks, Jermaine Crease, who had 2 receiving and 84 yards. With a controversial win, the Seahawks get a victory at home, 13-10. Man, talk about some crazy, upbeat, jaw-dropping games that happened this weekend. Extra, extra, read all about it, hot off the presses. Okay, fellow sports lovers, timeout lovers, football lovers all over the world. Let's just in. The Miami Dolphins have fired head coach Joe Philbin. We're replacing him with tight end coach Dan Campbell. Campbell played for the Lions as well as the Cowboys and actually won a Super Bowl ring as a tight end with the Cowboys. With Mr. Campbell being the last remaining Dolphin of the Tony Serrano days, with Campbell's rough, tough fight and then ask questions later sort of mentality, there is a possibility that the Dolphins could start steering and swimming into victory lane. But only time will tell. Well, that's my show, fellow sports lovers, timeout lovers. Thanks for tuning in. If you really like what I'm talking about, then go ahead and give me those thumbs up. Or, if you really feel what I'm talking about, then why haven't you subscribed yet? Or, go ahead and leave me a comment below the video here. And don't forget to hit me up on social media, on Facebook at Charles Cowan Timeout. And don't forget to hit me up a tweet on Twitter at TimeoutNow87. Until next time, Timeout. Let's talk about some sports. Woohoo! Talk to you guys later. Have an awesome sports day.